everyone, this is Rabbit Ears Blog, and welcome to another comic book discussion series. So today's comic book discussion I'm going to be talking about today is, should comic books be put on hold if there's no more good stories to tell? And I've I've asked this question because I've noticed that one of the comic books that Marvel has, Fantastic Four, is like doesn't really have any comic books being sold right now, except the members of the Fantastic Four are like either split up or some have already left the planet Earth or something like that, while some of the Fantastic Four members like the Thing is in other teams. But my question is, should comic books be put on hold if there's no more good stories to tell? I think it's like a mixed match of like a mixed reaction for me. Like part of me is saying, yeah, you should put them on hold if there's no good stories to tell. Another half of me said, but there is consequences with that if a comic book is being put on hold because they got no more good stories to tell. In terms of why I think it's a good idea to put comic books on hold if there's no good stories to tell, it's because rather than run the risk of ruining a comic book series because the writers that are currently writing the comic books and might accidentally mess up the characters because they have no idea about what good stories to tell with these characters, that might ruin the characters that are in that comic book series, and you don't want your favorite character to be ruined because some writers didn't know what kind of stories to tell with these characters, or they ran out of ideas of what they could tell with these characters. And then another reason why the Fantastic Four was like on hiatus for a long time is because they haven't been selling well. So I think the company looks at it like, well, why would we print out comic book series that is not selling well on, that's just a waste of resources that we have. So we'll just put this comic book series on hold until we can find a good idea to tell, or find some good stories to tell with these characters that may seem relevant to the current audience. Excuse me. So, yeah, I think if there are no more good stories to tell with a comic book series, I think the best solution would be to put them on hold or not make any comic book series about these characters until you can find a really good story to tell with these characters. Because you don't want to be writing these characters and then you have no good stories to tell, and you run the risk of ruining these characters because you've written them very poorly, because you don't know what kind of stories to tell with these characters, and so you just come up with whatever story comes to your mind. So I would rather that the comic book series not be well, the comic book series be put on hold for a while, at least until good stories are being told about these characters. But there is a risk about all this. Like sometimes if you put a certain comic book series on hold, there is a risk that some people might forget that this comic book series existed, and it might be like many years before people remember that these characters really existed. And that's the only bad thing about putting these characters on hold, is that you don't know when people are going to remember these characters because they've been put on hold for so long. So you want to have it set up, or at least write down on a piece of paper or something like that, that a list of characters you put on hold, and see, do we need these characters right then and there? Do we have a good story to tell with these characters before you put them out, like the loop forever, or put them out of the comic book stories forever, and you don't want any of these characters to really disappear because you forgot that these characters existed when you put them on hold. So I would just write these characters on a piece of paper or something like that, and just say these are the characters we have to put on hold because they either weren't selling well or we couldn't find any good stories to tell about them, so we're putting them on hold for now until we can find some good stories to tell, or until they start selling well again. But those are my thoughts about whether or not comic books should be put on hold if there's no more good stories to tell. I think it's a good idea if you don't want to run the risk of ruining these characters because you got no stories to tell, but you have to be careful about putting them on hold for too long because you run the risk of making these characters forgetful to the audience. So what are your thoughts about this topic? Do you think there should be some comic books put on hold if they're not selling well? Or do you think it would be a bad idea to do that because the characters might be forgotten about if nobody took the time to really research these characters or bring them back into the mainstream audience? Please feel free to comment below, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter so I can keep you updated any new videos I post up. And also, like my Facebook page, Rabbit Ears Blogs Best Comments. And also, new videos will be posted every Sunday, so if you want to check out some new videos from this channel, please tune in every Sunday for some new videos. If I have some special videos posted throughout the week, Like if there are movie trailers or a bit of TV or movie news that happen to pop up during the week, those would be special videos and they might pop up during the week. But new videos are posted every Sunday. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabbit's Blog and I'll see you later.